What a win for the Pacers. Some calling it a statement win. Deservedly so. They go into Cleveland and beat the Cavs. What a result that is for the Pacers. That gets them to 6 wins in a row. Snaps a Cleveland 12-game winning streak. And the Cavs, 93 points, their lowest of the season. Their first time under 100. A lot to like for the Pacers in this game as they climbed to 5th in the East. They were 4th, tied for 4th for a second until the Magic won their game that started an hour later. But credit to the Pacers for getting this one done. This is as tough as it gets. The Cavs have been unbelievable this year. Their offense is a buzzsaw. They have a Cavalanche, as they call it, every game. Their defense is really good. And in this game, none of that happened. And the Pacers deserve a lot of credit for that. So let's zoom out and start with, why didn't the Cavs, who have been so unbelievable at scoring and just sharp iron, drag teams to death, all this, any anecdote you want to give, couldn't do it tonight, right? Their offensive rating entering this game, actually exiting this game, is still 2 points per 100 possessions better than anybody else. They only scored 93 against the Pacers. What happened? What happened, right? 1 for 5 for Dean Wade, 7 for 17 for Donovan Mitchell, 7 for 16 from Darius Garland, 0 for 3 for Karis LeVert, 1 for 6 for Max Strus. Lots of guys were off. Here's what stood out to me is the threes the Cavs missed, they will beat themselves up over. Right, a lot of good looks from 3. They took 41 and made 11. The Pacers made 11. They took 35, right? So that's a big swing, that 6-possession swing. But the difference to me between just a variance win for the Pacers where the Cavs just couldn't make anything and actual results was the Pacers' other stuff they did on defense that mattered in this game. And primarily to me, that is walling off the paint and doing a good job at the basket. Evan Mobley was pretty good at the rim. He was 5 for 8 on twos, but Jared Allen only made half his twos at 3 for 6. Donovan Mitchell was 4 for 10 on his 2-point shots. Darius Garland was 4 for 7. That's okay. On his 2-point shots, Max Strus and Karis LeVert both missed their only 2-point shot. Isaac Okoro went 1 for 3 on 2-point shots. I could keep going if you want, but I think you get the gist of what I'm saying. Where the Pacers won this game defensively was their ability to wall off the paint, where the Cavs have been so good this season. They play inside out better than anybody, right? So they can score at the rim, or they can use their penetration to kick it out to their shooters. They're great at, they're very connected on offense. There's a reason their offense is so good. This probably will be a blip for them, if anything, but the Pacers do deserve credit for that part of their game. They did a wonderful job of walling off the paint, protecting that part of the court, forcing the Cavs to keep trying to rely on a 3 on the night they didn't have it from deep, and then not fouling too much, only 18 free throws for both teams. You know, that means the Cavs didn't have a reliable source of like, oh, they can turn to this guy over and over, or that guy. Garland had some nice passing moments with 7 assists, but he had 4 turnovers. No one else on the Cavs had more than 5 assists. That was Sam Merrill. So they couldn't get the ball movement really popping the way they have in other games. Their threes that they did generate weren't falling. That's on them more than anything the Pacers did. And they couldn't do anything at the rim. All in tandem, 93 points. Awesome defense from the Pacers, primarily in the second half. 40 second-half points for the Cavs. They scored 34 in just the second quarter. That's where this game looked like it was going to get topsy-turvy. Credit to the Pacers. They were down 10-0 in this game, fought back to make it a game, and then the close of the second half, or excuse me, the first half, second quarter, was all Cavs, and they were up double digits at halftime. Tyrese Halliburton out with a hamstring injury at that point for the rest of the game. Looked like it was over for the Pacers, but the offensive shift to me in the second half came from the guards, right? I don't even know how to explain this to those who weren't watching the game, but you know, the front court the Cavs have with Mobley and Allen is just so tough. You can't rely on, even though they kind of got high scoring nights, it wasn't awesome efficiency. You know, Pascal Siakam was 18 points on 21 shots. Miles Turner hit some threes and was good on the glass, so he had 15 points on 10 shots. But that front court battle is tough. Those guys were good on defense. But what I thought at halftime, where the Pacers were down big, is if they're going to have a second half that they're proud of, right? They had 40 points at the half. They had 68 in the second half. They need some guards to get going. Well, boy, did they. In the absence of Halliburton, they started Ben Shepherd, and Andrew Nembhard was awesome in the second half. He finishes the game 7 for 11 with 19 points. His defense and offense in tandem were just massive for the Pacers in this game. He could do no wrong. He banked in a 3 late that was effectively a dagger shot. His ball movement was very crisp. And then Ben Mathurin, he had 12 points on 15 shots. No one will look back on this game and say he was so big. He was plus 14 for a reason, though, and that's because during the Pacers' best stretch of the game, the early third quarter stretch, where if they don't play well in that stretch, they're going to fold, right? They were down 43-55 early in that quarter. Ben Mathurin floats one in to make it a 10-point game. Then he hits a three to keep it at 12 a couple minutes later. Then he runs in for a dunk to make it a 6-point game at the 7-minute mark. Those 7 points, a big part of the Pacers' surge early in the second half, combined with decent defense in that stretch. That was huge too. So the guards did step up there. And then the bench guards, really good as well. McConnell didn't finish shots in this game. He's really struggling with his accuracy, but 8 assists to only 2 turnovers. He defended well as well. And a ball handler off the bench that mattered in this game, especially with Halliburton out and got some touches. Jarris Walker was tremendous. 21 and a half minutes for Walker, almost the most of any bench player, only outdone by Shepherd because Shepherd started. Second half, Walker, one of his best games ever. Plus 21, led the Pacers. 8 points, doesn't sound awesome, but he did it on 5 shots. 12 rebounds. I don't have to look. I know that's a career high. Easy to check. 2 assists, 2 steals, and a block. No turnovers. He was critical in this game, and part of what makes that so important is the Cavs are huge, right? They start Dean Wade at the 3. They have Niang and Okoro off the bench. Like, they just always have size at the 4-5 and sometimes the 3-4-5, and so the Pacers needed to keep up with that. It was funny to me that, ironically, in this game, the Cavs' best lineup was a small group that played faster and generated some better shots late in the second quarter, but their bigger groups and their size advantage usually is such a big thing, and that's why I thought a game like this for Jarris Walker could be really important. They need some size at 3 to go with some skill, and they got it from him. One of his best games ever with low stat totals, although 12 rebounds is not necessarily a low stat total. They needed a lot from him. Other bench guys were important. Thomas Bryant didn't miss, 5 for 5 for his 11 points. He had a monster putback on a rebound. He just gets one rebound every game that's just like, no matter what anyone else could do, Thomas Bryant's going to get it. He had one of those in this game. Obi Toppin was efficient, especially on his 2s, 4 for 6 on his 2s, 3 steals for Toppin. He played very well. The whole bench group for the Pacers played very well. Outside of McConnell's missed shots, which again has become a theme recently that he'll want to shake, that bench group played very well. Very well. So Halliburton leaves. He was not playing well. He was not defending well. His passing was nice. We'll see what that hamstring tightness leads to. Obviously a huge story. It's that same left hamstring that's bothered him for basically a year now, right? It was revealed very recently in an athletic article. That's what his Olympics injury was. Different injuries, but still left hamstring in the conference finals and the regular season. That's a huge story to come out of this game, but everybody for the Pacers who played did something. And that's a story of a lot of their wins recently. Speaking of a lot of their wins, that's 6 in a row for the now 22-18 Pacers. What a recovery of their season they've had since a terrible loss to Charlotte. Their only 3 losses since then have all been totally acceptable. They lost to the Oklahoma City Thunder, in my opinion, the best team in the league, then lost to Boston the very next night, who's very good, and lost to Milwaukee on New Year's Eve on a night where Giannis was superhuman in the second half. Outside of that, they've beaten every team they've played since December 8th, which is over a month ago. They're playing great basketball. They're climbing the Eastern Conference standings. They showed they could beat the Cavs. They really can, at their best, beat anybody, but they got to keep playing this way again. They play the Cavs again on Tuesday. Keys to any adjustments, Cavs are going to shoot better, so Pacers are going to have better offense themselves, I think, and they certainly had trouble getting into the paint a lot in this game. They kept wanting to get out of it. Evan Mobley's down there. I get it. He's amazing. So whoever Mobley's man is, I think is going to be the key to that next game. In this game, though, the Pacers found enough solutions. They keep it rolling. And we'll have much more on Locked On Pacers. Check us out there later.